Hi, and now my next video in this hat. It's a jester hat that I've had forever, although the other two bells have not stood the test of time. Anyway, this is on the concept of discourse communities, discourse communities, by John Swales. John Swales was the professor of linguistics and co-director of Michigan Corpus of Academic Spoken English at the University of Michigan. That's not important. What I have to talk to you about today is the two places where Swales highlights and defines terms, and how does he do it? And how does it affect me, personally? Okay. The two things that I think he went into great detail about were the concept discourse community and then the concept speech communities. Now, this is going to be the part where I read off the paper. Okay, the idea of discourse community in saying the very idea of it is skewed and confusing. How do you define one's discourse from another based on actions or common interests? And then how we define speech communities is a concept that ties together people who share linguistic rules, regulative rules, and cultural concepts. Essentially people who talk in the same fashion, same mannerisms, and all speech communities can be put into two groups: sociolinguistics and socio-rhetorical. Sociolinguistic is how groups talk and how they talk to one another. Socio-rhetorical pertains more to groups working towards an objective through their words. And then it goes on to talk about the differences between the two. Speech communities are more general, like you'll go towards that more towards birth. You'll stick to it for a while. And discourse communities are something you kind of grow into from experiences growing up and stuff. One of the things he goes into a detail of how you describe someone in a discourse community. First of all, there are 6 specific characteristics of someone who is in a discourse community. Okay, let's see. The first is a broad set of agreed upon common public goals. Then the next, discourse communities have mechanisms of intercommunication among members, so like secret handshake or something like that. 3, discourses use participatory mechanisms for information and feedback, so group get-togethers of some kind, or some place that they all mutually meet. 4, they use their own type of genre to further their goals. Yeah. So they'll use stuff within their own field, like I talked about in a previous video. I talked about how Pokemon and Pokemon fans are. So they'll put stuff into that term, like, well, they'll talk about the different kinds of Pokeballs that you would throw at Pokemon, or just puns based off of that kind of stuff. It varies from group to group, honestly. Let's see. 5, they have special ways of communications, or lexis. So if I'm going again off of Pokemon, a lot of the people will talk through their 3DS console devices, or through Wii U, just varying consoles, or the internet. And the internet is a wonderful place for everyone and anyone to talk to everything, all at once. And then 6, members have to meet a certain standard expertise, so people have to meet a certain standard to fit in certain groups. Well, let's use like Call of Duty for an example. Like, oh yeah, I'm making good time. Call of Duty, I guess KD ratio, kill-death ratio, say you play a game of Call of Duty with a group of people that you normally play with, if you don't reach a certain amount of kills, and like, you don't die a certain amount of times, your KD ratio is good, and they'll keep you around, you know? So a lot of his stuff was how groups work in general. So you could also pertain this to political parties like Democrats and Republicans, how they act, what it takes to be in one of their groups, stuff like that. Like discourse communities don't necessarily mean like all of one people in one town. They can vary. I think one of the examples that Swales uses is, or it might be in a different talking about his stamp club, where he did that, and it doesn't have to be people particularly around him. It can be people in different countries. They can be rich, they can be poor, as long as they have the same interests and they do the same things. They're all part of the same discourse community, same speech community, stuff like that.